Okay, so welcome to the second episode of the PTU Barbell podcast. And today we have our co-host Richard Jones with us today from PTU.
Hey everyone.
He's shy still. And on our podcast today we have the awesome Ben Fletcher. He's an Olympian Judoka. He's also been to the Olympics and competed for Great Britain. And currently competes for Ireland, and we'll go over that later because that doesn't sit well with me, unfortunately.
Hi guys.
So let's get that out of the way then. So how come you decided to switch to Ireland? Because, you know...
Straight in there.
Yeah. Just a better team overall. Just a better country. No. So I competed for Great Britain all the way up until 2017. Went to the Olympic Games in 2016. And then British Judo decided to centralise their programme in Walsall, in the Midlands. I'd been established down in Bath, training there for a number of years, and basically thought that was the best place for me to be. So I wanted to stay there and did a year self-funding, because if you didn't move to Walsall when they centralised, you couldn't get funded. So I self-funded for a year and worked alongside training and everything to be able to go to, well, try and fulfil my dream sort of thing.
Nice.
But you couldn't. I couldn't work enough to have enough money to do the tour basically. And then the work and training balance is always really difficult to come
So did it work out for you moving to Ireland?
Yeah, it has done. Yeah. But long and short of it was, I went to the Worlds in 2017 and knew that what I was doing wasn't working.
Yeah.
So it was either a case of, like, for me, I didn't feel like moving to Walsall was going to make me a better athlete. I was well established with my coach. He's had an Olympic champion in the past, and I felt he was the best person to be working with. So I wanted to work with him. So for me, it was either like find a way to change it. My mother is Irish, so I had an Irish passport. And at that time, my sister had already moved to change for Ireland for a similar reason. And I essentially just asked if I could move over. And because I wasn't based in the centralised system, I was based outside of that, they allowed me to move, and yeah, everything's gone
nice.
better and better since then.
Did you maintain working with the same coach?
Yes, so I was still living and training down in Bath at the University of Bath, and working with my coach Jürgen Klinger. So I was able to keep working with him, and a lot of it is because I wanted to work with him and just felt like the environment that I was in was really, really good. So it wasn't anything personal against the team. In Walsall, it was just I felt like what I was doing was the best for me, and if I moved, I'd sort of be admitting to myself that I'm moving for the wrong reasons. I'd be moving for, not that there's a lot of money, but I'd be moving for money, and you know, it wasn't for the best organic reasons.
So even though you changed nationalities, you don't have to change the coaching team that you've been familiar with?
No, so I work now with Kieran Ward, who's the head coach in Ireland, and we have a great relationship, but we all agreed that it was the best place for me to stay was training in Bath, and I think the results over the last few years have proved that it's a really good place for me to be.
So was it more down to the structure and the programming? Do you find like that helped you, the way the setup was with your current coach? Is that why you stayed with him?
So I essentially moved to Bath for him, if you know what I mean. Like, I felt...
Sounds romantic.
Yeah.
He's always at the pizza place anyway.
Yeah. No, that sounds a little bit wrong. But no, I felt like before I moved to Bath when I was 18, and I had already been going down and working with Jürgen, and felt like he was a really, really good coach, and knew he would be somebody who would get the best out of me, and I don't know if you've been to the university down there before. It's got fantastic training facilities. It had fantastic training partners for me, lots of heavyweights, so it looked like the best place for me to locate or relocate to. It also meant that it's not too far from here, Bath, it's like an hour and 15, hour and 30 sort of thing. So when I first moved, I could train down there for the week and then come back here and work. So
and take the missus down there at the weekend.
Yeah,
it's romantic, isn't it? It is nice down there.
Yeah, it is nice. But it was also like, so I was working and doing a horticultural course to go back into the garden centre as well. and was sort of down there 4 or 5 days a week, and then back here at the weekends. So I was balancing sort of like work and that sort of thing. So I moved down there originally for that, and that was my plan. And then was getting really good results and made a lot of improvements. Like after a year, I got bronze at the Junior World Championships, and like really started to make some big improvements. And then down the line, it just didn't make sense for me to move somewhere completely different where I have a great rapport with the coach, and if I felt like it was the best place to be.
It's more of an upheaval, isn't it? So
exactly.
Just maintaining, keeping everything consistent that you used to.
And it's a big change, you know. And at the time when this centralised program came in, I was 25, 26, so I didn't know how long more I was going to be doing judo for. And some people might argue that you could make a big jump forward from there, but I'd also argue that it wasn't broken, so why try and fix it. I was gradually getting better results and pushing forward. So a completely cut and dry change of program I don't necessarily is the best thing to do.
Nice. Now we've got the elephant out of the room. How did you start your training career? Did it start off at judo, or did it start somewhere else?
No, I started from judo. So I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and they all have done judo. So when I was 5 years old, and we were lucky to have a really good judo club nearby in Pinewood Judo Club. So I, naturally was just like, it's like a rite of passage in my family. You basically you go to Pinewood, and that's what don't really get much of a choice. But both me and my sisters just loved it, and I was quite a shy kid, and it sort of brought a lot of confidence out of me, and we sort of really enjoyed it, and I sort of never looked back. I did other sports like a bit of rugby and cricket through school and that sort of thing, but judo's always been the main constant one.
Nice. What do you do in terms of training for judo? Are you mainly around a barbell, or is it more skill work, or how have you been coached over the years?
Bit of everything. So you can't. It's one of those things you can be physically really physically developed and dominate people, but if somebody's really good at judo, they'll find a way around to beat you. So it's a way of balancing both being good at judo and also being physically developed as well. So you've got to be able to fight for 10 minutes, and not worry, but also have different ways to attack in judo, and have lots of be creative. So it's a real mixture. You've got to be fit and strong, but you've also got to be really skilled at judo as well. What's
more important, do you think, in judo? Is it to be strong, or is fitness going to be a winner? Obviously, at your weight,
if you've got someone of the same level, So technique-wise, as your elite level, what tends to be the difference between those getting the win and?
I'd say if it's two people who are very close, a lot of the time it could be both. It could be having something out of the blue, which technically you don't expect, or it could just be somebody who is fitter and stronger and absolutely can just push you beyond where you can go and go into deeper water, and that will be the thing which in the end they'll find a way to score, or they'll push you till you can't go anymore,
And is your training overseen by a strength conditioning coach?
Yes. So my S&C coach is Harry Chismich. He's down in Bath, from the University of Bath. So everything's sort of overseen by him, and he liaises with Jürgen. So they've got a very good relationship, and they set programs depending on what Jürgen and him both believe are the best thing for me to do.
Are these both guys that have been involved in judo for some time, or they
so Harry's worked with judo, I think, for the past 5 years. So, but Jürgen sort of explained from the get-go what we needed, and then he's then learnt after having a bit of a go at himself, and I think it's one of those things where they both work well together and have ended up coming up with good program ideas, whereas Jürgen's 69 now, so he's been done it and seen it all, but then Harry comes in with new fresh ideas and bounces it off of Jürgen. So it's quite a good working relationship where I think Harry's 30, so that he's comes up with new fresh ideas, and Jürgen can sort of verify and validate if he thinks that's going to work for us.
I've seen you in the gym. You move a lot of weight. So do you, people that might underestimate you. I've seen you doing some 50-kilo pull-ups. So, is a lot of your program strength based, or is it changed? Like in season, are you still doing that strength stuff, or are you doing less of it, or how does it work for you?
Yeah, so you've got to be strong and you've got to be fit, and it's kind of constant throughout the year. It will change between like a generic prep phase where you're trying to get fitter and stronger, to a point where before a competition you're trying to be as like have higher maximal strength, and then probably being as sort of dynamic and as explosive as possible as you can be, and just generating as much power as possible. So it will ebb and flow throughout the year. So normally you'll have 2 or 3 competitions that you're really peaking for throughout the year, and then say you're 3 months out, you'd be like in a preparation phase, and then as you come into like the last month, it'll be more sort of shorter, sharper, jumps, like really explosive, heavy stuff.
Heavy trap bar.
I guess for those that don't know,
I love a heavy trap bar.
For those that don't know, what how is judo scored? What are the main components of a judo match?
So the main components, so you can fight standing and on the ground. There's one way to win standing, which is it's just throwing somebody on the floor. You can't touch the legs, so it's all everything above the belt, and it's just grappling, similar to, I don't know if people know Greco-Roman wrestling, but we wear like judo suits as well. And then on the floor, standing, if you throw somebody and they land like on their side or like on their shoulder, it's called a wazari. 2 of those is like the same as a knockout in boxing. But if you get thrown flat on your back, it's called ippon. So basically the fight ends there, and it's the end of your day. So that's the goal in standing, is to try and throw somebody flat on their back, and there's every kind of way that you can try and do that: foot sweeps, shoulder throws, hip throws, and there's a lot of creative and different ways that you can do that. And then on the ground, there's hold down. So if you hold somebody on their back for 15 seconds, it's the same as ippon. It's 20 seconds for ippon. Oh God!
Is that what you've been losing?
God, I'm out of touch here. And then anything between 10 and 20 seconds is wazari, and again, if you did that twice, you would win. There's also strangles and arm locks. So in judo, you can like arm lock the elbow. So in different things, BJJ, you can do shoulders, wrists. But in judo, it's just against the elbow, and if somebody submits, it's the end of the fight. And it's the same with strangles. So if you strangle somebody and they submit, or if they go unconscious, it's the end of the match.
You say a lot about like chokes and stuff. Most of the elite judo I seem to watch is always standing up work.
Yeah.
Always. You're either getting thrown basically, or you're standing up.
Yeah. Well, it's you start standing. So you start in standing up. So there's quite a small time period to win on the ground, and that normally comes in from a transition from standing to ground. So if somebody's tied, they go down, they're not covered up, and then somebody jumps in your neck or your arm, or bundles you over into a hold down or something. So but a lot of it is from standing, and as you can imagine, at the top level, people are all pretty well rounded. So you don't get that opportunity a lot where somebody's just like falls over, lays on their back and lets you hold them, or like sticks their neck out and lets you choke them.
So isometric stance is probably very important with your training.
Yes.
A lot of tension, a lot of.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of tension, a lot of torque, a lot of
rotational strength.
Yeah, a lot of like you've got to be strong in all areas. If you know what I mean, like core strength is massive, like around your hips. But then again, there's not really anywhere where you can sort of not be strong and strengthen. It's kind of like an all body game, really.
Have you experienced many injuries?
Yeah, I've had some. I've been quite lucky. I'll touch wood on that, but I've had knee surgery in my right knee. At the time, they thought it was a lot worse than it was, but they just basically went in and cleared out some of the cartilage and that. I dislocated my patella in my left knee, and beyond that, I've had like nothing too serious. I had a couple of like cellulitis infections, like one in my knee, one in my elbow, which obviously can be quite serious, but that's mainly due to like mixture of overtraining, being run down, and then like they both come off the back of like long flights as well, so I think the pressure affects it as well. But then after that, broken toes, fingers, dislocated thumbs, nothing too difficult, but we spend a lot of time on the prevention of that, like with mobility and also just how you move and like my coach is really hot on like how you react to throws. Like some people get into bad habits, and then when somebody attacks your leg or something like that, and your knee bends in, they get used to reacting like that. Then it's no surprise they get injured sometimes. So that's not to be like cocky about it, but it's just we spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah. So you mentioned overtraining. How many hours a week do you generally do gym work versus how many do you spend in the dojo?
So in the dojo, there's normally two technical sessions, 3 randori sessions. It will depend.
A week.
A week. Yeah. So a typical. It depends, because sometimes on training camps and that will just be sparring. But a typical week will be sort of like 3 randori sessions which are sparring. So they'll be 2 hours long. So you've got 6 hours there, and then 2 more technical sessions. So they'll be an hour and a half, 2 hours themselves. And then I'd usually have 3 weight sessions and then 2 more conditioning. So it's quite an even balance in a way. But the judo side of it will obviously be physical and will be sort of more specific conditioning and strength work as well. So yeah, when you look at it like that, there is a lot of physical work that goes into it. You can't escape being physically strong and fit. And like, so sometimes if you go to Japan, like the guys are really really technically good. Like for most Europeans, it's just a case of physically trying to break them, and like not to injure them, but I mean like to like overpower them.
The cheeky lapel punch.
Yeah. But like that. So it's one of the ways that Europeans can normally.
Who's the strongest nation that you fight against?
Like physically.
Yeah, like who's the biggest guys, the strongest guys? You're going to go, oh my god, look at that guy, I don't want to fight him today.
Yeah, there's...
Except from yourself, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm king of the hill. But no.
I don't want to fight you.
No, a lot of like Russian nations, like the Eastern Bloc, like Georgians, Azerbaijanis, they're some of the guys you think, how has he made weight? And you just think, how are we the same weight? But
it's got no legs.
Yeah. Just they must be hollow. But yeah, there's a lot. I'd say like the most of the Eastern Bloc and like the southern Russian nations. So like where like could be the Magomedovs from like Dagestan and Chechnya and that, you get some monsters come out of there. Yeah. Scary men come from there. Yeah.
Fighting bears when they're young.
Yeah. No wonder.
So your sister's obviously quite good at judo. I won't ask who's better because it's obviously her.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your genetics really play a role? Have you always been good, or is it just you've trained for so long you just got good? Or do you?
I think we've actually got like not very good genetics,
no?
But I think we just work really hard. It's one of those where I think that's the case. Like, I think we've always worked really hard from a young age, and I've always had to work hard. Like I've trained with other people, and they do like 2 gym sessions a week, and their numbers just fly through the roof, and I'm just like, I could never do that.
Yeah.
But I think it's mainly just due to like really hard work, and like our parents giving us like a really strong work ethic. Like I say, they own a garden centre, and it was always us like working the weekends and like like training during the week and then slaving away there at the weekend.
All the manual work.
Yeah. It is like I would always be the one like lifting concrete into people's cars, and other people couldn't lift it and stuff. So
loading up the compost bags.
Yeah, literally, and like it's. I mean, I think it definitely has helped.
I was saying last week when we interviewed Kelvin that he manual labour, and he says that like really helps his deadlift and stuff.
So say grip strength.
Just always picking up stuff. His strong back, strong hands.
Yeah, and it's like I think. That there's a lot to say for that. Just physical work. Like a lot of like guys I've fought over the years who've been like tradesmen or whatever, and they're just physically doing stuff all day long, just picking stuff up. They're just like, you can't get them off your kit. They grip you, and you're just like, what like what has he been doing? But it's just like I definitely think that's something to it, because for a number of years, like I was just sort of like lifting stuff up and just walking. It's like crude strength training, but it definitely works.
I think it's. It does show. You can definitely see the people that don't have a manual job or have not played sports as a young age.
Yeah.
When they come to the gym, they just don't know how to move their body as well. It takes a lot longer to coach someone. Whereas I bet if I said to you on your first day, just squat, and you just bang, you like straight in the hole, and down and up with a bar for 20.
Well, I think mobility wise and that sort of thing, I probably wouldn't be as good. But in terms of just like I don't want to say, I'm not that strong, but like in terms of like raw strength of
just like not that strong.
Yeah.
Does pull-ups with 50 kilos around your waist?
Yeah.
What is it? Singles or doubles or triples?
I think there was a double in there.
Yeah, a double in there.
Yeah.
You deadlift your hex bar deadlift because he doesn't do normal deadlift because he's a judo player.
Yeah.
What's your hex bar deadlift?
The most I've done is 272.
272.
Yeah.
So that's still huge.
Yeah.
Bench. I saw you bench quite heavy before.
I haven't done it for ages. Did 150.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's,
so it's
that's
like
not normal. When you're only what do you weigh at the moment?
104.
Yeah, 104.
No squat.
Huh?
No squat.
You don't squat.
I have before, but like, I just if I don't have to,
it's too dangerous for judo players.
Yeah, a lot can go wrong.
That's why you got a hex bar.
Yeah.
No, so generally you are quite strong, except for a few little areas that but that's where your skill comes in at judo. You don't want to compromise your judo sessions for strength sessions, I guess.
No. Like judo will always be first. Like if, say for example, you had a certain amount of sessions you can get in a week. Like judo will always be the king of what you've got to do. But yeah, if you can be fitter and stronger and working towards it, and say like ultimately it's my job, so I'm always trying to find ways to improve. So it's, you know, the gym and the weight side of things will definitely help me. You know, there's no way you can look around that. But judo will always be the king. And one thing I would say is like the specific side of like judo conditioning. Say if you're doing like sparring, that's more going to be. It's like I say, it's going to be specific. You're going to be getting a rhythm for fights, and it's not like you're not going to be absolutely blowing all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're doing the conditioning side of it, that's going to be less specific. And for example, like you can find ways to rest in like a judo match, and like that's what you should be doing because that'll be the case in the contest, and when you can like take a minute off and then raise your game again. So you need both basically.
It's always going to be complementary to what you're trying to achieve,
100%.
Unless there's a weakness, and then that's when you're going to have to take time out to address it.
Yeah, 100%.
Excellent. What's your favourite exercise then?
In the gym?
In the gym?
Trap bar deadlift. I love it, yeah.
And if anyone can translate, what's your favourite judo throw? Or move. Oh yeah,
Uchimata.
Yeah.
So Uchimata it's like, I think it translates to inner reaping leg throw. I might have got that wrong.
I think you sent me a photo of one of yours. It looked pretty decent.
Yeah. So I quite like doing that one, but it's quite hard to pull off, like especially in a competition. So it's like it looks.
Especially with big lads as well. I guess you really have to get them off balance.
Yeah, you have to get like break their balance, but also like you're literally like lifting somebody with one leg who's the same weight as you, like, and they're flying through the air. So it's quite difficult, and it's like quite a good feeling once you get it to work. Yeah.
Have you got any like fond memories of like competing? Maybe on the world stage or Olympic stage, is there anything that you really sticks in your mind that you think, oh, you know what, Mum and Dad, I made it? You sound like, you don't know.
Yeah,
I know you went to Rio, so you're just like, oh my god, like, you know, I'm actually, this is like almost dream come true. Like, because a lot of people will look up to you and think, or even I'm like, oh my god, he's been to the Olympics, he's at the world stage. You know, that's not it's not
your everyday guys.
Yeah, and you can't just brush that off. Do you know what I mean?
I'd say like there's three probably that I would like highlight. Would be like the first one would probably be I got bronze at the Junior Worlds, and like my parents were there, and that was amazing. Like to win be one of the best in the world. It was like age group stuff, so it's like under 21. So like, but to be like one of the best in the world, and that's still one of my best results. So that was amazing. Parents were there. I always remember like certain parts of that day. Same with like the day at the Olympics, it didn't go to plan. I lost my first match, but it was still like, still get memories of like walking out and just thinking.
But to
like,
get there as well, that's how many people get picked for your team and in like your so 5 or 10 is it?
I had to qualify. So it was just that you had to be top 21 in the world at that point.
That's
like
amazing.
Yeah. So it was like you had to be top 21, and I was 24 years old at that time. So like for me, and in heavyweight, so I fight under 100 kilos, you normally peak towards your late 20s, early 30s. So like for me to just qualify for that was a big deal. So it was one of those where, so much so that by the time I got to the end of the qualification, I was like physically and mentally just destroyed.
Yeah.
But like just to qualify for that, and then to be in the Olympic Village and just doing all that were like really really special moments. And then like the first time I got a Grand Slam medal was like I got into the final of the one in Dusseldorf, and that was like, I still think of that now and like what a special day that was. Like it was just like it was like properly like didn't feel real.
Yeah.
But like it just got like through one round, and that's the thing. Like you get through one round, you're like, okay, that was alright. Okay, get through the next round, like, okay, this is alright. Then the next thing you know, you're like in the final. So there's just like a few. Like if I look back on like most days, I'll remember certain parts of those days, but there are like 3 that really stick out, and I'm like, okay, they were. I'll always remember them.
Yeah.
Is there one opponent that you would love to get a rematch with that sticks in your mind?
Yeah.
So going back to that one in Dusseldorf, so
you're going to call it out?
No, not for that. Like yeah, meet me at the
meet me at the gym.
Yeah,
in the car park this time.
Yeah. Bring the tools. No. So essentially, like in the final of that competition in Dusseldorf, like I was like really like just like so hyped to be in the final. And I was fighting a guy from Georgia, and the Georgians are amazing. I had a guy called Varlam Lispitiliani, and he's a like, massive name in sport. Like he got Olympic silver in the weight below, then moved up to 100s. He's current world number 1. I think it's world number 1 at the time. And I remember being like, yeah, okay, I think I could do him today. And I remember being like in the warm up area, like waiting to go out, and I'm like warming up, and it's like 20 minutes before we're going to fight, and I'm like, he's not warming up. He's like sat asleep in the corner, and being like, what's going on? Like, is he not fighting or something? And like my mind's going, I'm like, maybe he's not fighting. Maybe he's like, what's going on? And then like 10 minutes ago, and I'm a bit like, what's he doing? Like, what's going on? Like, is he not taking me seriously or something? And then like I'm sort of a bit like I don't know what's going on. So I'm in my own head thinking about it, and the 5 minutes he gets up, like shakes a little bit, does a couple of stretches, and then he's like ready to go. And like the first minute of the fight, like, I felt like pretty good, and like you know, put in like a good like show for myself, and then got absolutely binned in like the second minute.
He just come off the back of a 20-minute nap.
That's the thing. Like it was one of those things where I just remember just thinking like he had like his process of like he'd obviously done that so many times, and like for me it was the first time at that level. And he just had that like process of what he wanted to do, like to a T. And like I was like there thinking, like, what's he doing? Like, why is he not like warming up and like all this sort of like in the background sort of thing? And it was just like for that, like I just thought like, yeah, I would really like to fight him again because like, well, just because I'd like to have another go at him, but but just because I will always remember that I just think like, like it felt like off the back of that there was a difference in class there, like for me, like in my own head, like in reality, like it was a good fight, I did well, but it was one of those where I just think like, I want to narrow that gap a little bit.
So having touched on obviously all the gym-based training, the preparation for a competition, and then obviously going through like the mindset, the preparation, have you installed any coping strategies, any methods? So so
he
just sits there until 5 minutes and then
I pretend to sleep in the corner.
That'll put him off.
Oh, he beat me. So I've done like a bit of like meditation and that sort of thing over the last few years, and I find that kind of just like I don't do it all the time, but I find it's something that like if I feel like I'm getting too ahead of myself or like my mind's overthinking things, it can just like quieten things down and like bring me back to like a good like middle ground. And then that's probably my main one. I do like a bit of like journaling and that sort of stuff, and then a lot of it's just like taking those ideas and bouncing them off my coach and seeing what he thinks and like having conversations about things, not just like obsessively thinking about them myself, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite good actually seeing another big guy talk about medication.
Medication.
Whoa. Wada will be on our case in a minute.
Yeah.
Meditation, because I think it's great sometimes. It just takes you don't always have to just sit still and stuff, but it depends on how you define it. But I think it's definitely good to just to like let those thoughts come and go, and just concentrate on your breathing a little bit, and concentrate on yourself and how your body's feeling, your situation you're at. Because I think sometimes, like, I've never been anywhere near the stages you've been on, but everything life and everything can get a bit overwhelming sometimes. So it's actually nice to see another like guy that's you kind of look up to. Like we had the conversation over there about it's good to just be a man. Yeah. But sometimes actually like I think it's a really like valuable tool, especially for like athletes and like cognitive behavioural therapy as well, like all those sorts of things. Especially, I mean, it's coming a bit more mainstream now, but I remember back in like when I was playing rugby, and I'd always kind of think about what I'm doing, who I'm gonna tackle, how I'm gonna do it. Yeah. And sometimes you need to take 5 minutes and be like, oh, just relax and.
I think that's like for me. I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, like it's one of those things that once you start thinking of what you could do, your mind sort of like starts snowballing, and then it's hard to slow that down. And that's one thing for me that I've been able to be like, and detach from things and like slow things down.
Do you ever turn those into like negative thought patterns, or is it always?
Yeah, it can do. Like especially like if you've got somebody that it's not gone well against before, or like they do something that's particularly like difficult for you to deal with, or they're like a massive Russian guy who's really good, and you're like, but I do definitely think that's something that in general can just slow things down, and like I can then start thinking more positively.
Is there like beefs and is there hypes to the fights? Because you get it in MMA, you get it in boxing. It's creeping into like.
Did you not see it on Facebook the other day?
Is it? Yeah.
But with judo, it seems to be like judo is a bit more of a more quiet, respected type sport.
Don't get me wrong, like people do have like dust ups, and like you will like carry certain grudges with certain people, but it wouldn't be like people talking to other people over social media and calling people out. It would be one of those things where people have like those private little like they don't like each other or something, but it would never like come out in the match sort of thing. Otherwise, like if somebody was like, there was a video of like one of the I think Moroccan boys like basically threw one of the French lads and like screamed in his face, and they just disqualified him like immediately.
So it's very
like it's very respectful and like traditional in that way. And I think that's if you take that like if you take that stance with it, I think that's quite a good thing to have, because ultimately judo is based on respect. It's based on all of those things, and there's a lot of like smack being talked by certain people, and I think once you let that come in like a little bit, it's just going to like add fuel to the fire. So it's one of those things that I quite like with judo, that it's like, don't get me wrong, it's a fighting sport, and people dislike other people
on the mat.
But it's pretty much like it's like ultimately I think a lot of like the trash talking in that is to sell fights, and like I can understand that, but like in judo it's sort of just like the old school like, okay, you think you're better than me, let's go and see who's better. It's like the old school like I don't know street fight sort of thing, where it's just like we'll leave all that,
have a fight,
literally that, and then you go, okay, actually like you're
Do you think it limits the popularity?
I think in some ways it probably does. In some ways, I think the people who aren't that keen on the hype of fights and all of that side of it, I think that could in some ways make people enjoy judo more, because it is a lot more respectful, and although people might have their differences, you bow and you shake hands at the end, and that's the end of it. But I think especially with with MMA, with the UFC and boxing and that sort of thing, and people having beef and that sort of thing, it definitely sells fights. So judo will never be like that. Maybe to its detriment in terms of popularity, but I think it's sticking to its core goals. So
it's staying pure.
It's staying pure to how it's supposed to be, and I think
that's probably not a bad thing.
No, I think for me, I'd prefer it to be like that than go down that road. And it's one of those things where it might be one of the few sports that stays that way, whereas other sports will, they'll all go that way. And I think, like, some fights now where you see people talking it up, and I just don't believe it. You can see through it, whereas it's not genuine.
Don't worry, cancel it. I can't remember. So you have before, it's like, he just come on, and all of a sudden it just went straight out.
Have you tried your hand at any other combat sports, so like wrestling? You mentioned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I've done a couple of sessions of BJJ, but and actually I did a couple of sessions of wrestling as well. So I've just done like BJJ around here, but in 2018 we went and did a altitude camp out in Colorado, and there had been like quite a good judo team there, but we were just going for like the altitude in general. It was more like a physical preparation block, and they've got a really good wrestling team there. So my coach sort of like asked my coach if we could come and do a little bit of Greco-Roman, and it was it was a really good experience. We got absolutely
naked.
Oiled up.
Oiled, yeah.
You don't you like just little pants?
No, it's singlets.
Oh, I thought it was just little pants, like
That's kabaddi.
Sumo. That's what they did. Is it like a singlet? Is it?
Yeah, it's like typical like wrestlers, like wrestling boots and singlets.
So you like weightlifting at 12, sumo wrestling at 12.
Yeah, it was literally like that. Like it was like I think we did it 3 or 4 times a week.
And that's really cool.
Like it was really fun. Like I absolutely destroyed my ankle in one of the sessions, which was like the first week as well. So we were there for a 3-week camp. But it ended up being alright, but it swelled up massive, and I managed to just get through that week, and then it was fine for the rest of it.
Obviously, you're judo, and Rich is like free JJ. So if you was gonna have someone come up to you like, "What's the best martial art for my son?" Because you hear it quite a lot, don't they? Or which one shall I start?
Yeah.
Which one would you think is probably like a great way to start with? Obviously, you started at judo, but I'd like to hear your opinion on it. What do you think is a good one
definitely
to start?
not BJJ. No.
I actually started judo as well.
Yeah. Fair enough.
No, obviously, I'm quite biased with judo. I think judo is like not anything against BJJ. I'm really biased towards judo because I think judo is like the precipice of it being like a hard physical sport and like it being rough and tumble sort of thing. But like you're unlikely to, with boxing, get brain damage. Yeah. And like if somebody was saying like, what do you think? I've got a hyperactive son. What do you think I could put him into? I think judo is like the perfect thing because you're getting hold of people. For me, like I said, I was quite shy, but also on the other end of the spectrum, like my older brothers were like fighting each other and like smashing through the sofa and that sort of thing. And it's like it brings people like to more of a manageable ground, teaches you a lot of respect, discipline, and there's so many transferable skills you get from it. And I'm sure BJJ does the same, but I just don't know. I just haven't done as much of it. So
I think it takes out that punching element as well. Like stops kids punching and kicking, rather actually use your body, your core strength, and actually manoeuvre someone to get them out your way. But you're not really going to hurt them too much unless you really want to.
Yeah,
you just send them to sleep.
Yeah. I don't get me wrong. I think all like fighting sports and martial arts and boxing and MMA even, like, I think they're all positive things for kids. But I think if somebody asked me, I'm a judo athlete, so I would promote judo. But it's it's definitely that's what I'd go with. I think they're all good. They all instill discipline, and boxing is obviously massively difficult. So I think they're all good.
Awesome. So let's move on to some food then.
Okay.
As an athlete, elite athlete, what does your diet consist of? What does it look like?
Meat.
Do you shoot it yourself?
Yeah, I do. So
controversial.
So it's a lot of calories. So I'm a large judo athlete. It's a lot of. I probably have 5-6 meals a day. I've no idea on how many calories.
But so you're not vegan?
No. But it's one of those things where I need high quality protein, lots of carbs, like try and get in with fruits and vegetables, supplements, and it's for me it's kind of a diet. It's just maximising what I can do. So if I'm as physically prepared, like in terms of diet before a session, my output in the session is going to be higher. So it's try and get everything in beforehand so I can recover and have the energy in the sessions to then be able to perform the best I possibly can when it comes to training. So it's 5-6 meals a day. That will be, I don't know, for breakfast this morning I was a bit weird. I had spaghetti bolognese. I had spaghetti bolognese. Like I would just do like, I don't really do a lot of meal prep, but I'll do like a big thing of spag bowl and like just have that throughout the week. Like then I had some salmon for lunch. I'll have like steak, as Rich pointed out. I also hunt as well, so I'll eat quite a bit of venison and that as well. So yeah, it's trying to get in and maximise like protein intake, calories. It's not something where I sort of like monitor it too much. And my nutritionist, we monitor my bloods and do it by weight as well. So like if I'm losing weight, I need more calories. If I'm too high, then it's quite a crude way of doing it, but that's kind of where we do it. Yeah, it's nice and basic, but then we also measure up with my bloods, and if I'm deficient in anything, then we'll try certain things, and yeah. But
nice.
Do you have a supplement protocol?
Yeah, so I use like a whey protein just for convenience. I use Uperforms.
Uperform? Who are they?
Funnily enough, so I'm lucky to be sponsored by a company called Uperform, and they specialise in collagen, but they also do like a really good whey protein, a really nice greens powder, and I also use their vitamin D as well. So I think especially this time of year in the winter, it's great to get D3 in, and then I'll also take fish oils. I'll take creatine before competitions, beta-alanine. What else?
What's your protocol with beta-alanine?
Beta-alanine, it'll be like I can't remember the.
Every day?
It'll be like, so from 2 weeks out. So the reason why I'll be using it is so when I'm starting to try and lose a little bit of weight, and I'm being a little bit more careful. So I have to lose a little bit of weight to make my weight for competitions. So I'll have less calories coming in, and the beta-alanine will just sort of, you get like a bit of a, just an energy boost from it. Okay. So I can't remember the amounts, but it's like 3 tablets twice a day.
Oh, fair. It's an everyday protocol, basically.
Yeah, it's like an everyday protocol, like 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and that just sort of helps maintain energy levels. And it's like if you've taken beta-alanine, you get sort of like the tingle from it. But it's like it doesn't affect my sleep or anything like that. Like if I was smashing a load of caffeine, it would. So, yeah. So
what's your favourite supplement?
It's got to be Uperform's whey and collagen protein.
No, that is actually really good though.
No,
I think the collagen's actually going to, in the next couple of years, it's going to be way more out there. I take it already, and obviously I've used the Uperform one as well.
Yeah. It is definitely something.
Sponsor me.
It's definitely something that like I've seen a lot more, and like when they first started doing it, I was just like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll take whatever. No, like whatever they give me. It's all batch tested stuff, and it's all. The guy who runs it is actually a top level modern athlete. So I'll take that, and obviously the collagen's really good for soft tissue damage and cell damage. So with judo, as you can imagine, you get a lot of like knocks and that sort of thing. So it's really good for that. So kind of a dream sponsor in a way.
No, it's really good. The research is obviously just slow and coming, but I seem to find that just an hour before a workout, whether it's a placebo or not, I really think it does work. So
and they've got the gels as well. So like I'll take it, and it's got protein, and it's got like calories and carbohydrates in it, but it's also got the collagen in it. So before like a sparring session for me, it's like spot on. So it's got a little bit of everything, and the collagen in there as well. And my nutritionist basically said like, it's a great thing to take as well in terms of injury prevention. Yeah. So any like soft tissue and that sort of thing is, it's just a I think it's just a win-win really.
Sold. Ever since starting jiu-jitsu, I've never felt so broken in my life. Starting mid-30s. So anything like that to help recovery.
Just feel beat up.
Taking that.
Where can we find this Uperform? Do you know their website? We'll just put the link in.
What's your handy discount code?
Yeah,
we just put the link in after this with Ben Fletcher 50% off.
Yeah, I do have a discount code.
That's right.
We'll have to chuck it in.
Yeah, we'll chuck it in the bottom. So if you do want to get some of that, we can chuck that in. Obviously, if they send me a free batch of stuff. Wicked, man. So what's your favourite meals, and then what's your favourite meal before competition? What do you eat before competition? Sorry, that's 2 questions in one.
Favourite meals. I love a steak. I love anything sort of this time of year, just sort of like steak, like like a potato gratin or like a daffodil potato, something like some like nice veg on the side, something like that. And then before like a competition, it's usually I've competed not that long ago. It's usually short after a weigh-in, so you want to eat a lot, but your stomach can't take it. So it's normally like replenishing carbohydrates and that sort of thing. But it's just sort of pasta, rice, get some meat and that in veg.
Just basically.
It's like it's not like anything specific.
What weight category are you?
Under 100 kilos.
Under 100, I was going to say. So you do have to.
Yeah, so it's not like heaps that I have to lose, but like from all the lightweights will be like crying like from like 2 weeks out, like taking like prizing weight off. But like for me, it's probably like 4 or 5 days out that I'm sort of like reducing meal size and just like bringing it right down, and then the day before and the day of the weigh-in I'm not really eating much at all. So yeah, what was the question?
You just should be before competition, but it sounds like this is what I like about talking to people, because actually a lot of the time it's just your basic nutrition, isn't it? Like, you're not doing anything fancy, you're just sticking to your meat, your veg, your potatoes.
Yeah, and I think it's consistencies with everything is key, isn't it? It's just like doing that for like 10, 15 years now, and it's like you gradually pick up results. There's no for the vast majority of people, there's no like shortcuts. There's no, it's just being consistent over a long period of time.
Yeah. So how do I get my protein in? Eat a big steak.
That goes with along what you're saying, like a lifetime of labour. If you're doing like manual jobs, a lot of the time when you speak to people who are athletes, their nutrition normally is protein, carbohydrates, vegetables.
Yeah.
Whereas those that come from more of a sedentary lifestyle, they're never really that active. Those are the people that tend to have more issues when it comes to eating.
Yeah.
If you ask them to increase their vegetables, they look at you like you're the devil or something. But it's it's just the issues that the sedentary type lifestyles lead compared to an athlete, where you're going to have the nutrients to get to where you've got to.
And it's one of those things that like when I first started out like training full time and that, I wasn't clued up in it. It's something that you gradually educate yourself on. I'd be like pizza, like buy
pasta.
Just like I'd like buy
legit.
I'd buy the pre-done like pasta, like what they called, like the pasta parcels with like the meat in the middle, and I was like, that'd do, like that, a bit pasta sauce, pizza, pot, and it like
pot noodle. You was about to say
no, I was going to say porridge, but like, I was like, I actually still eat porridge. So there's nothing wrong with porridge. But it's like I started off not knowing, and you gradually educate yourself now to eating like a lot cleaner, but like ultimately it's not the there's no shortcuts. Like you need like calories, you need the right amount of protein, you need like fruits, vegetables, get it all in, and you can't really go that wrong.
Nice. Well, no, that's cool, man. We'll finish up with there. But who do you look to for inspiration?
Aaron Hopkins.
Yeah. So eat pizza, pasta.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm great at judo too.
Yeah. To be honest, mate, I don't. It's a bit of a weird one. I don't look too far. I don't know. There's not anybody who really jumps out. If you know what I mean. Like it's not that I see somebody do something, I think, that's really inspiring. But it's not like somebody has like a favourite person that they. Would
you say your coach you look to for inspiration? Is that why you stayed with him?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You could say that. Yeah, because he's somebody that I know will get the best out of me. So it's like if I didn't think that he would help me and we didn't have such a good relationship, then it wouldn't. I wouldn't have wanted to stay with him and keep training with him. So yeah, I definitely think that's probably quite a good way of saying it.
I always just ask because there's it's just some people do look for people for inspiration, and some people don't. But it's just. I do, and I like to maybe like your older brothers, but you don't really think about it.
You just wanted to beat them, I guess.
Yeah.
Stay competitive and beat them and not get beat by your sister.
Yeah, it's one of those, the fear of my sister. And,
is she better than you then? Would she beat
Let's
you?
not go into that.
Would she beat you?
No. She's all jokes aside, it was quite funny.
On next week's show.
It was quite funny. There was a time where we were about the same size. Like she's 3 years older than me, but like being a girl and me being a boy, we got the same sort of stage where we'd be the same sort of size. And instead of like kids fighting at home, the parents are like, "Oh, you should just fight at judo, and then it won't they won't end up going home. You get everything sorted out at judo, and it just like the complete opposite. Like ended up like just scrapping at home, and like, but so I'm like 3 years younger than her, but I'm 30 kilos heavier. So yeah, I think I could win.
Maybe that's why she's so good, or obviously she competes at a high level like you do, because she's been fighting you for most of her life.
Yeah, it could well be that. Yeah, you know. She's got a brother at attack her at any moment.
Yeah, you know. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
What are your future goals?
To first of all qualify and then medal at the Olympic Games this year, or next year. Yeah, and then from there we'll just sort of see. Like I'll be 29 in Tokyo, so whether I'm continuing to compete, I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. And then I don't know, just keep enjoying life, and you know I'm quite lucky to enjoy what I do and wake up looking forward to what I've got on every day. So just try and keep on doing that and just keep progressing in each area of my life.
Would you go into coaching?
I would do, yeah. I don't think I would probably want to be like an international coach, just because I've spent like the last 10-12 years like going abroad, like away for 2 weeks, back for a few days, then away again. So I don't think I want to do that again. Well, not for a while anyway. But it's I definitely would like to coach, but maybe more in like a local setup and like more with like teenagers or something. I think I'd probably quite enjoy that. Not kids, like young kids, but like not internationally. I don't think, or maybe with some like good level players, but just I don't think the travel doesn't attract me much.
Yeah. No, that's wicked. Excellent. Cool. So is there any quote that you live and train by, and then we'll wrap it up?
So this one might sound a bit corny, but it's hard decisions, easy life, easy decisions, hard life.
Oh, I like that. That is good.
Very good.
I like that. Awesome. So do you want to quickly say where we can find you at?
So I'm on my main social media handle is Instagram. I'm not that on social media. I'm not like the biggest influencer in the world, shall we say? Yet. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'm on Twitter and on Facebook as well.
Oh, wicked. We'll put the links below. And then also, I see you got your Fighting Films t-shirt on.
Yeah, my Fighting Films hoodie. Yeah.
Can we see you on there? Is there something on there we can see you on, or is it?
Yeah, so on Fighting Films, they've got a program called Superstar Judo, which is basically they have like different athletes on there showing their throws and different, their specialities. So I'll be on there. But you have to subscribe to it, but it's not too much. So
okay.
if you go
if anyone's interested, then it might be worth looking at.
Yeah. So if any judo fans out there, and like, I've got some content on there, and there's a lot of like better athletes than me who've got their athletes their content on there as well. So definitely worth the subscription.
Wicked. Excellent. Thank you very much for coming along.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's it. We'll get this out.